All right, so picture this. You just pulled off a massive deal, making you the biggest player in your entire industry. Your stock should be shooting for the moon, right? Well, in a wild twist, when one real estate company did exactly that, its stock tanked. We're going to break down exactly why.
So, check this out. On September 22nd, 2025, the tech-forward brokerage Compass announced it was buying its huge rival Anywhere Real Estate. And the market's reaction? It was completely upside down. Compass, the company doing the buying, saw its stock plummet 15%. Meanwhile, Anywhere, the company getting bought, just skyrocketed nearly 60%. It makes no sense on the surface.
So that's the big question we're tackling today. What on earth was going on here? Why would investors punish the company that just made this huge winning move? Well, the answer pulls back the curtain on a really fascinating clash of business strategy, high-stakes finance, and two totally different visions for the future of real estate.
Okay, so our first clue is all about the price tag. You know, like any good mystery, the first thing you do is follow the money. And in this case, there was a lot of money involved.
This right here is the magic number, 84%. That is the absolutely massive premium that Compass agreed to pay for Anywhere stock. We're not talking about just a little extra to sweeten the deal. They offered a huge incentive to make sure Anywhere shareholders couldn't say no.
Now, an acquisition premium is pretty simple. It's just that extra you pay to get people to sell you their shares. But an 84% premium? Whoa, that is exceptionally high. A number that big signals one of two things. Either you have incredible confidence in the deal, or maybe you're a little desperate. And that leads to the really critical question. How was Compass going to pay for all this?
And here's the catch. They didn't pay with cash. Nope. Compass paid for Anywhere by printing brand new shares of its own stock. The easiest way to think about it is like a pizza, right? Let's say the company was a pizza with a certain number of slices. To buy Anywhere, they just cut that same pizza into many, many more slices to hand out. So while the whole company is now bigger, each individual slice, each share, is suddenly worth less. That's called share dilution, and it's exactly what freaked out Compass investors.
Okay, let's move on because this gets even more interesting. This wasn't just a simple merger of two companies that do the same thing. No, this was a merger of two completely different philosophies. A real clash of titans with totally different business models. So, in one corner, you've got Compass. They're the new kid on the block, the tech disruptor. Their entire strategy is built around creating this slick, all-in-one software platform for top-tier agents. Then, in the other corner, you have Anywhere. They are the old guard, the established giant. They own a massive portfolio of legendary brands you've definitely heard of, like Century 21 and Coldwell Banker. And they run this huge franchise empire with super stable revenue from things like royalties and other services. And man, these numbers really tell the story, don't they? Right before the merger, Compass actually had higher revenue. But look closer. Anywhere was a little more profitable. You can see that from the adjusted EBITDA, which is basically a quick snapshot of a company's cash flow. But the real stunner, the number that just jumps off the page, is the agent count. Nearly 180,000 for Anywhere versus just under 21,000 for Compass. That just shows you the unbelievable scale of their franchise model.
So, it begs the question, right? Why would this high-flying tech company pay such an insane price for a traditional, old-school giant? The answer is the single powerful word that you hear in almost every mega-merger: synergy.
This whole thing is one big strategic gamble on the future. The vision is to take Compass's awesome, cutting-edge technology and plug it into Anywhere's absolutely colossal network of agents. And, at the very same time, Compass gets its hands on Anywhere's super stable revenue from things like franchise fees and title insurance. That makes them way less vulnerable to the crazy ups and downs of the housing market.
So, when you boil it all down, the bet is this. Compass truly believes that by smashing these two opposite models together, it can create something the world has never seen before. A real estate behemoth that has the fresh innovation of a tech startup, but the rock-solid stability of an established empire.
So, let's bring this all home. What's the final verdict here? What's the big takeaway from all this market chaos?
It really just comes down to that classic battle: short-term pain versus long-term gain. The stock market reacted to the immediate pain, that huge price tag, the share dilution, all the financial risk. But Compass, well, they're not playing for tomorrow's stock price. They're playing the long game. They're making a bet on total market domination 5 or 10 years from now.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question. And it's not just for these two companies, it's for the entire real estate industry.
By paying a fortune to unite tech and tradition, did Compass just secure its throne as the undisputed king of real estate? Or did it just prove that sometimes the price of the crown is simply too high? I guess only time will tell.